guys, welcome to my vlog. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to Friday, the weekend. Yeah. So the topic for today's vlog will be, how can I word this? Not judging people by the way that they look, regards to if they have a disability or not. Recently I've had a lot of incidences where, people will somehow find out, and it's normally like people at the pharmacy or doctor's offices, and they'll quote like, oh, how do you have Medicare at your age? Or is anything even wrong with you? Because obviously when you look at me, like, you can't tell that I have a disability, unless you ask me or see that I'm like suffocating from walking up a flight of stairs. You don't look at me and you don't know that I have one lung and cardiac history and all of that. And not only me, but there's so many people in society that have these debilitating disabilities that you look at them and you see an average person. So it's really frustrating and somewhat kind of insulting when someone judges me just by the way that I look, or they automatically assume I'm like young and I'm taking advantage of the government system, because the average of people do that now in today's society, especially like local Medicaid offices or the Social Security office. Like, if they don't pull up my chart and they just look at me, I get a lot of judgment and attitude on like, oh, how are you on disability? Or, oh, how do you have Medicaid and Medicare? And it's just so frustrating because you don't know what I have been through, and you don't know what other people have been through. And it's frustrating and honestly overwhelming at times, because it's hard for people with disabilities to even accept it and then cope with it, because you don't know what people face. I mean, there's people that have cancer and you look at them and you think they're just the average Joe walking around, and you don't know what they're going through or what they've been through health-wise. You don't know why they can't work, or why they work part-time, or why they do use, medical devices that they do have. Like, constantly I'm wearing a mask right now, and I don't mind if people ask me. I would rather have you ask me than stare at me like I'm a zombie that's about to eat your face off. It becomes very frustrating, or automatically assume like I have Ebola or something and take 10 steps away from me. Well, I don't care, get out of my bubble, I don't want your germs anyways. I don't know where you've been. But I just want people to be aware that you never know what is wrong with someone, or what kind of disabilities they face each day, or what it took for them to even get out of their bed, get dressed, go to wherever they're at. They don't need you judging them. They don't need you making comments or saying what's wrong with you. I'm gonna get emotional, sorry. It's just, I've had so many incidences where people will say, well, how are you on that on your age? Or what's even wrong with you? Like, and I don't mind when people ask me questions about my health, but I'm not one to bring it up or say, oh, hey, I have one lung, by the way, randomly to a stranger. I keep that private. I don't mind if someone asks me, why do you wear a mask? Or what's the scar on your chest? I'll tell them. But my health history is not one that's easy to explain. Like, I didn't have like lung cancer, and I can't just say, oh, I had cancer and they took it out. It's kind of lengthy and long conversation of why I don't have a lung. So I don't bring that up. I keep that private. But like I said, I'm an open book. I don't mind questions of why I have one lung, or why I had open heart surgery, or why I've had many surgeries, or why I get sick. I don't mind that. But I'm not one to just bring that up first. So it's frustrating when I have people who work in the medical field or in the pharmaceutical field or whatever just kind of get judgy. And it's just like, okay, if you're having a bad day or something, I get it. But who are you to judge why I have government insurance? You look at me and you think you're seeing a healthy 24-year-old woman, and you're assuming that I'm abusing the system. And you don't know what I've been through, physically or mentally. So stop judging people by the way they look. Because if I could work, I would. If I could not rely on Medicaid and Medicare, I would. But I went to the Medicaid office and I had to turn in some information, and I had a woman tell me, why do you even need Medicaid? Your husband has a good enough job. You can just pay for it out of pocket. And she wasn't even the woman I was speaking with. That I was speaking with the manager, and she was very kind, and I appreciated her kindness. But this other woman made that comment, and I said, my last medical bill was over $200,000. So please explain to me how anyone in this society, regardless of whether you're a doctor, a governor, whatever, could afford that. And who are you? And she also questioned, how are you even on Medicare at your age? Like, this woman knew nothing. She didn't even know my name. And you're sitting here and judging me. It's already hard enough for me to accept my disability. I don't need to explain to a complete stranger who doesn't even know my name or my history why I'm disabled. Frankly, it's none of your business. Plain as that. And if you're going to be rude and judgmental, I'm going to become defensive and upset, because it's already a struggle for people who have a disability, whether you were born with it or it's rapidly happened and you're sick and you have to accept that. Like, you have no idea how difficult it is to wake up every morning and tell yourself, my job is to be healthy. That is my job. And I don't get a paycheck for it. If I did, it'd be great. I'd be loaded, because my health is constant. My job is to take these pills and these nebulizers and this vest and continuously do it again and again and again and again. My job is to protect myself, to wear a mask, to not see friends and their kids when they're sick, to not see people. That's my job. And that's a person's job when they're disabled, to care for themselves. And that's hard enough to accept and tell myself, oh, I'm good enough doing just that. That is more than good enough, that I can look in the mirror and I can be proud of myself for doing just that. But I'm so sick and tired of people looking at me and judging me for what they see. And I am not normally a person who cares about what other people say. But I'm emotional about it right now anyways, because it's very hard for me to accept, one, I'm disabled, two, I can't work. And I feel like my whole life, my health has taken so much from me already. So I think with just dealing with that myself, and then having these people come in my life and, make these judgmental comments when they have no idea. And I can not only imagine what other people go through that deal with it. Like, you don't know what a person is going through by the way that they look. You don't know what's wrong with them. Someone could have just been told they're terminal and they have cancer all throughout their body and they look like average Joe to you. And who are you to say anything to them about their health or make comments? Like, just be kind. You don't know why a person is on all these medications or on all these pain pills or whatever the scenario is. Just shut your mouth. Be kind. Tell them, I hope you feel better. I hope it gets better for you. Don't make these comments of, oh, why are you on all these medications? Or why do you need pain medication? Or this and that? Or why do you need Medicare? Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's so infuriating, because when you're disabled, it's hard enough to be proud of yourself and what you're doing. And I'm learning to do that. And some days are great and some days it's a struggle. Like, for God's sakes, I have a high school diploma and a college degree. I had a career, and it's hard enough for people who are disabled and they have to give up those things and willingly give them up and say, hey, I got to make my health first. I got to do this. It's my job. I want to have a better quality of life. I don't want to be sick all the time, And then you have these judgmental people. I just wish people were kinder. God in Scripture tells you, to even be kind to your enemy, to those who bash you and that. And I ask God to help me to be as nice to these people as I can. And never have I yelled or screamed or, said, I want to speak to your supervisor or anything. I just say, you don't know what I have been through. And frankly, it's none of your business. Thank you, have a nice day. And that takes so much to do that. Because when it comes to my health, I'm very defensive. Because not only have I been through so much, but my family, my aunt, my uncle, my husband, my grandmother, they are my biggest supporters. So when I become defensive regarding my health or, things I've gone through, that's who I think of. Because it was their struggle too, not just mine, and that's, in a scenario, would I defend myself to a point? Yes, but I get even more defensive when it comes to my family. Because that's my A-team, And they've taught me, be proud of the things I can do. If all I could do one day was fold laundry, great, be proud of that. If I can get 10,000 things done in a day, great. If I can get 2 done, great. If I had to take a nap, that's okay. It's okay to have a disability and don't let it define you. And that's the hardest thing to do for people that are disabled. Not let your health define you. And then another thing is when you have people talk about it all the time for no reason. Like I said, I don't mind questions. If someone randomly was like, hey, blah, blah, blah. That's fine, but I'll answer the question, I'll move on. I don't like to be the focus of attention regarding my health because I've worked my whole life to not be defined by it. So when someone I know constantly tells everyone about it for no reason, if I'm going somewhere and that friend or something has family that smoke or, whatever, it says, hey, my friend's coming over, she has asthma, could you not smoke around her? That's great, that's fine. But just simply going around and telling people my story, that's nobody's business. And that's my story to tell, not anyone's. And it's so frustrating because people look at me and then they put me in a glass box. I don't need pity, I don't need that. Just look at me and be kind and see me for who I am, not my disability, not my one lung, not my big heart, not the fact that sometimes I sound like Kermit the Frog when I cough and I wheeze at times. I'm just Abby. I'm Abby. I'm not the one lung girl. I'm not the kid who had open heart surgery. I'm not the girl that's sick all the time. I'm Abby. Look at me and see that. Ask me how I am, not, oh, how your lung is doing. Just ask me how I am. See me. And it's frustrating when people, and they do it out of kindness, and it's not that I'm angry towards anyone at all, or I get mad at them. It's just, you work so hard to not be defined by something, and you find that's all people talk about when you're around. So just take a step back and approach it differently. Because it's hard enough for me to look in the mirror and remember who I am when I feel like my health has stolen it all. So just see me, see the person, not their disability, not the wheelchair or the oxygen or the mask or the nebulizer or the vest or any of that. See me. And I don't mind sharing my story and my struggles and my health, but remember that there's a person behind all that, not just a sick, disabled girl. There's a girl who loves to read, who loves shooting and fishing and God and everything. And chocolate and ice cream and shopping, and that's me. See that person. And that's just the topic. All of that kind of came out emotionally. I didn't realize I had all those deep feelings of that, but apparently I did. So right now I'm just working on staying healthy. I feel amazing. I still have my steroid face a little bit. It's great. I'm almost done with them though. Happy dance. I can actually take a deep breath, guys. Do you hear that? Holy snaps. That hasn't been able to occur for a very long time. I have my heart scan Tuesday. So basically I get to hang out in a CT scan for 3.5 hours and chill while they take pictures of my heart, make sure it's okay. It's routine, nothing's wrong, hopefully. But I do it every 6 months just to check on the size of my aorta, and my tricuspid valve does leak moderately to severe. So just a little tune up and make sure everything's okay. But I have God by my side, and faith and peace, and my husband and my family, and everything will be fine. I'm sorry if this video was a little too much for anyone, but it's just reality. So I guess like my point is just don't judge someone by the way they look, and don't look at someone that does visibly have a disability, whether that's oxygen or whatever's going on in their health or whatever, and see that. And I'm sure other people with health issues don't mind questions, but just like ask the question and then move on. Because when all you do is talk to someone about their health, like you're defining them by that. And it's exhausting. Like I deal with my health all the time, all day long. I'm working on my health. So when I go out or when I go places, like ask the question and move on and be a person. You know, I deal enough with explaining how I feel and what's going on to my doctors. I don't want to explain it to random strangers and people. Like, just talk to me about life and me and how I am. And don't let someone's health define them. And I mean, I get like, cool, you have one lung. And most people, when they think of me, that's the first thing they think of. But like, keep it to yourself. I don't need Billy Bob Thorpe Jr. and everybody up in Peru like knowing it. Because people look at me and they pity me. And I can probably speak for every disabled person. That is the one thing that we don't want and don't like. We're people. See that? So that's my topic, guys. Hope you all enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, please share. If you have any questions about my health, anything at all, I don't mind, about my life, that would be wonderful. Any topics you want me to discuss or explain, I don't mind sharing my crazy, beautiful, complicated, wonderful life. I wouldn't give it up for the world. I'm grateful. I'm blessed. I am beyond loved by God. I am blessed with wonderful peace in my life. I'm happy and I'm blessed and I'm feeling great. So I hope you all are doing good, and I'll see you at my next vlog.